Hello, and welcome back to Bay Brothers. Last week, we reviewed the new Superman movie in what became our longest video yet, and also one of the most supported videos on our channel. We gained a good number of subscribers, it's now one of our most viewed uploads, and best of all, the comment section was full of your thoughts, with both praise and criticism, which we always welcome here. A lot of you shared that while you agreed with some of the points I made, the video felt more negative overall, and I get that. I gave my honest thoughts, and I believe my takes were fair. But I also realized that while I talked about both the positives and the negatives, I definitely spent more time digging into what didn't work. And I can see how that shaped the tone of the review. So in this video, I wanted to bring a bit more balance to the table. I've laid out 7 positives and 7 negatives from the Superman movie to better show not just what disappointed me, but also what I really think worked. I want the movies about Superman to be near perfect, not just for me, but for everyone who appreciates the character. And even though I was disappointed, I'm still very hopeful for the future of Superman and the DC universe. So let's get into it. Let's start with the tone and direction. For me, this is one of the clearest negatives. James Gunn's light-hearted approach, while charming at times, leans too far into comedy, especially for a Superman movie. Serious emotional moments are undercut by goofy humor, like the scenes involving Krypto. It just takes away from Superman's gravitas. That said, I still want to give credit where it's due. Despite the missteps in tone, the film genuinely tries to present a Superman who's bright, kind, and full of hope. And that optimism matters. Superman's positivity and good-hearted nature shine through, and the world around him reflects that. It's not perfect, but this hopeful tone is one of the core things that makes Superman who he is, and that gives me optimism for the future. Now, while I did appreciate the hopeful presence, I can't ignore how Superman himself is portrayed. He lacks certain charisma and emotional control, and at times he comes off as insecure and unsure of himself. Even by the end of the movie, I don't see that change, or delivered to the audience in a compelling way. That doesn't quite match the heroic, inspiring figure he's meant to be, especially as the new face of the DCU. But even with those issues, there are parts of the character that really work, especially in his relationship with Lois Lane. David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan have great chemistry. Their final kiss scene feels genuine and emotionally rewarding. A big issue I had throughout the movie was the lack of emotional payoff. Scenes that should have hit hard emotionally, like the Smallville return or final confrontation between Lex and Superman, are either rushed or interrupted by misplaced humor. There's no real emotional climax, which makes some arcs feel incomplete. But what keeps me hopeful is the amount of untapped potential. The interview between Lois and Superman, the Smallville scenes, and the final confrontation, these all had strong setups. They just didn't fully land in the end. Still, the foundation is there. With stronger pacing and better emotional build-up, these moments could shine in future films. Let's talk about Lex. He starts off as one of the strongest parts of the movie, intelligent, calculating, and well performed by the actor Nicholas Hoult. But by the end, his character starts to unravel. His choices become irrational, his downfall feels cheap, and the subplot that outs him with Jimmy and Eve just doesn't feel worthy of someone of Lex's brilliance. Despite that, I have to give major props to the casting. Nicholas Hoult is great as Lex, and the rest of the cast works well. David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, Skylar Gizonto, everyone fits their role. The Justice Gang members are all amazing, especially Nathan Fillion stands out for me. This cast can absolutely carry the DCU forward as long as the writing supports them. Another big problem is that the movie tries to juggle too much. Between Krypton, Ultraman, the political tension, Lex, Lois, and the Justice Gang, there's a lot going on, which is fine, but none of it really gets the development it needs. In the end, it feels shallow, like the movie is wearing a facade of depth, and that illusion seems to have convinced a lot of people that it's more deep and profound than it actually is. The ideas themselves separately are great, but the film never slows down enough to explore each of them properly. Even so, I love the world it's starting to build. Fictional nations like Barovia, the whole of justice, the history of the Justice Society, these elements are exciting. They lay a rich foundation for future DCU stories, whether that's for future films or shows like Lanterns. The potential is definitely there if it's handled right. The soundtrack is always a key component of a very successful film, and the choices in this film really didn't work for me. The use of songs feel out of place for something as iconic and epic as Superman, and while the John Williams theme is classic, reusing a variation of it felt like a missed opportunity. This Superman deserved his own theme to shine. That said, visually the movie delivers. The cinematography is good, the effects are high quality, and the overall look of the movie is top tier. It's clear the budget was put to good use. Finally, one of my consistent issues was how Superman's powers were handled. A lot of them, like freeze breath or super hearing, are barely used, and Superman gets beat up way too much. He doesn't grow physically or mentally enough throughout the story, and his power set isn't fully explored. I respect that James Gunn mentioned wanting a depowered Superman to make storytelling easier and more compelling, but I think it limits the character's potential. Still, a few action moments really stand out. That 360 heat vision spin, easily one of the coolest Superman power moments in all live action, and the way he outsmarts Lex's plan with Ultraman and the Engineer shows real cleverness from Superman, which we usually don't get to see in other projects. These moments of greatness show what's possible when the film leans into Superman's full potential. While there are several weaknesses in tone, structure, emotional execution, and parts of character portrayals, none of these negatives are unfixable. They are the kind of flaws that can be improved with stronger focus, better pacing, and a deeper understanding of what makes Superman and the people around them special. And the positives are foundational. A cast that works, a world worth building on, and most importantly, a Superman who feels bright, kind, and full of potential. That tone, that character, and that optimism, those are what gives you the hope. If the next creative team can build on these strengths and correct course on some of the missteps that I pointed out, then there's still a chance to give Superman and the DCU the inspiring future it deserves. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether you agree, disagree, or just wanna share your own ideas. At the end of the day, we all just want to enjoy the stories that entertain us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. B Bros out.